So I've been flying the Air 3S here for about 6 months now, and in today's video I want to share my long-term experience flying this. Is there anything you should be aware of before buying this? Should you buy this at all, or should you consider something like the Mini 4 Pro instead? Over these past 6 months, I've been spending a lot of quality time with the Air 3S, mostly here at home where I've experienced the large mountains of Norway through the two eyes of the Air 3S, the main 1-inch 24mm wide-angle lens and the 3x 70mm telephoto lens. And I can admit that once you fly something like this, which has these two lenses, at this affordable price, considering what you get for $1,000, you will most likely 100% for sure get hooked. With the power of these two lenses, you can basically turn anything into a cinematic masterpiece. But despite capturing amazing landscapes here at home, there was still something missing. Something greener, perhaps more tropical, maybe some turquoise water as well, and some unique mountains. This time I was lucky enough to travel back to Hawaii with the Air 3S. And on this trip I also took the DJI Flip here to accompany the Air 3S so I could capture videos without any limitations. The Flip is a 249-gram drone which allowed me to fly with less restrictions, with and without a controller, to capture videos in a more convenient way, and which otherwise would be impossible when traveling with these two guys here. And to make the trip better for everyone, I also needed something I could just launch in seconds without saying, just hold on 2 more seconds, which actually meant stand still, I'm trying to get the shot. So using both the Air 3S and the Flip here just made everything more convenient and easier on this trip. And I was also able to capture some spectacular photos. Just take a look at these. Now I also made my long-term 2 months later video of the DJI Flip here in Hawaii, so if you're interested in seeing how that went, there's a link down below. Now the question I always ask myself is whether or not I still need the Mini 4 Pro now that I have the Air 3S, which is bigger, stronger, faster, you know, just a bigger and better drone basically. But before the Air 3S, you know, the question was also turned the other way. Do I really need the Air 3S because I have the Mini 4 Pro, which fulfills all my needs basically, and is also 249 grams, has true vertical shooting and all of that. So you might know by now that I've been traveling to Hawaii a couple of times, and if you've ever been to Hawaii, you might have felt the power of the trade winds. These winds are not the typical winds you're used to. They're quite unpredictable, I would say, and suddenly you can get the worst gust ever, which could potentially blow your drone away and cause some flyaways. But the truth is that I've been to Hawaii now 7 times, and I've been flying all over the island every single time I've been there. And I've been able to capture videos of the entire island with and without these high winds and gusts with the Mini 4 Pro. So in theory, the Mini 4 Pro is everything I need because, like I said, it fulfills all my needs. So there's basically no reason to get another drone because this does everything I need, I thought. So after using the R3S now for 6 months, I've learned that this provides a much greater value in the way I capture videos with 45 minutes of flight time, 42 gigabytes of internal storage, 2 lenses for 2 different shots. It's faster and it has the latest and greatest safety system. For me though, the biggest differences between this and the Mini 4 Pro is the flight time and the camera. In a real life scenario, wind, weight, travel has never really been an issue. Of course, the Mini 4 Pro struggles more than the Air 3S because it's lighter and smaller, but when it comes to actual real life use, I've never had a moment where I thought, oh, I really need to land my Mini 4 Pro, otherwise this is completely lost. So the question I would say is rather, what drone would you like to have and what's the purpose of you getting that drone? Is it just for family vacations, or do you want something which has a little bit more potential like the Air 3S, which has 2 lenses, a 1-inch sensor, or with the 1/1.3-inch sensor on the Mini 4 Pro? Not that that matters too much if you upload videos here to YouTube or any other social media platform. So in terms of image quality between these two, well, you can actually see for yourself. Take a look. So as you can see, there's not a huge difference between these two when you look at the wider field of view. But after using both these for quite some time now, of course, the Mini 4 Pro has been something I've been using longer because it has been available longer. But at the end, these two drones to me are the 2 drones with no cons at all, outstanding image quality, and 2 drones that will get the job done no matter how and where you fly. It's like the only con I can come up with the Mini 4 Pro is the propellers here when I'm trying to put this in my backpack without using Velcro or prop guards. This is 1000% annoying, but it's not really a con, is it? Even though it just dingles around, because I can still use Velcro, I can use a rubber band, I can use the included prop guard. So it's not a con. It's just, if people ask me about try to find a con with the Mini 4 Pro, this is the only thing I can come up with. So if you're looking to get either of these two drones, the question is probably price. This sits a little bit higher than the Mini 4 Pro. Also weight, 249 grams versus 724 grams. So does the weight really matter for you, and does it affect to where you can fly? If so, you would probably be better off with the Mini 4 Pro. And if not, and if you have the extra $300 to spend, the Air 3S would be the absolute best bang for the buck in my opinion. But I'm not going to sit here and say that one is better than the other. To me, both are equally good with exceptional features and abilities, and it comes down to your purpose. What's your purpose of getting either of these drones? So I want to break it down to 3 separate categories, or 3 separate sections. And hopefully that will help you choose between these two, whether that is buying your first drone, upgrading, or downgrading. So the first one is social media. Are you planning on or already making a lot of vertical videos for social media, or is vertical videos something you want to get into? Then the Mini 4 Pro is probably the better option because it captures true vertical videos at 4K up to 100 FPS, whilst the Air 3S captures 2.7K up to 60 FPS. So you have less frame rates and less resolutions with the Air 3S. But if vertical videos don't apply to your style and you only want a horizontal video at the highest quality for the cheapest price, the Air 3S is as good as it gets for just above $1,000. The second one is versatility and ability. So even though both these drones have the same features like waypoints, cruise control, quick shots, panoramas, active track, 4K slow motion, and so on, there is a difference in the way you use them. So the way I see it is that you spend less battery getting shots in the distance with the Air 3S than you do with the Mini 4 Pro, for example. So let's take a look at these two clips. With the Mini 4 Pro, I had to fly all the way over to these islands, also known as the Mokes, but with the Air 3S, I could just change to the 3x lens. I also think the 3x zoom lens looks way better than the wide-angle lens for this particular shot, but that's just a matter of taste. However, with the zoom lens, you're also able to capture more interesting videos, which is perfect to make the background look larger or the foreground closer. And this is the biggest difference in actual real-life use, if you ask me. Now, number 3, tracking. If you ever plan on tracking yourself, your car, motorcycle, boats, or basically anything that might run fast or slow, the Air 3S has the better optimized tracking, as it has the latest tech updates from algorithm to sensors and stability. It's also, again, from my experience, much more stable and smooth when it comes to tracking a hike or a walk, for example, and doesn't drift as much back and forth as the Mini 4 Pro does. Now, let's get back to traveling. So for my personal travel experience with the Air 3S here, both in hot and cold weather, also far and close to subjects and objects, it has been nothing but good, actually better than expected. I also used the split ND filters from Freewell here, which made it easier to record videos with both lenses without having to change the settings, and also to make it easier to maintain optimal shutter speed and settings to get the best possible image quality. So because the DJI filters here is the same for both lenses, so we have 128 here, so this is 128 on the main lens and also 128 on the telephoto lens. But these Freewell filters are actually split, so for example here we have one which has 32 on the bottom here, or actually 128 on the bottom, and we have 64 on the top, and this makes it easier to change to optimal settings on both lenses without having to land the drone and then change the ND filters. In my opinion, it's more convenient to use these split ND filters. I started off here in Norway, I used DJI's filters and they worked perfectly fine. I just had to change the settings and sometimes change the ND filters to get the optimal shutter speed. But I really like these ND filters from Freewell, so if you want to check them out, I'll leave a link down in the description below. So that's my roundup 6 months later review of the Air 3S here. All shots were color graded with my Signature LUTs, both for the Mini 4 Pro and the Air 3S, and also the Flip here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Which are your favorite drone when it comes to these two? Is it the Mini 4 Pro or is it the Air 3S? For me, I can't even choose because both are amazing. I just wanted to make this video so you can see the differences, the samples, and mainly the telephoto lens here. Is it something you should buy because it has this? Will it add a greater value to your business, your holiday, your trips, your vacations, whatever you're doing? If you just want to track yourself on a motorcycle, on a boat, car, whatever, will this add more value than this one? So let me know your thoughts down below. All the links to everything is down there as well. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by dropping a like. Also hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.